Hi, my name is Rosalie. I'm the director of BAAYF. When I think about the question, when have I experienced love, I think of one event in particular which I've shared multiple times before. I was probably around 6 years old. My brother and I are only 18 months apart, so he was probably turning 5 around that time. I was obsessed with washing dishes when I was younger. I thought it was the coolest chore to have, and I used to get paid, I think, $1/4 if I washed the dishes. And in my obsession, I liked to wash all the dishes except for the ones I couldn't because they were too heavy. And one day I was washing dishes and I could obviously tell my brother and my dad had gotten into a huge fight. They were screaming and yelling, and I don't remember what it was about, but I knew my dad was done with my brother and wanted to teach him a lesson. So he packed up this bright orange duffel bag that he had gotten on his honeymoon, and he told my brother, "You're going to be out of the house." At the entryway of our front door, there was our stair, and there was like an iron staircase. My brother was like hanging on for dear life. My dad was trying to grip him away, saying, "You have to leave the house," just to basically teach him a lesson, not to actually kick him out. But because I was not able to read the cues of what was going on, I went up to my dad and was like, "Baba, I couldn't wash the biggest pot. It's too big for me." And he wasn't paying attention to me. So I just kept bothering him and kept bothering him and wanted him to see me, to look at me in my face, to understand I couldn't wash the bigger pot. And he turned and he yelled at me. He just reamed at me, and I was shocked. My mouth dropped and I just started crying. I ran upstairs to my room, and after that afternoon calmed down, he knocked on my door and he was just like, Rosalie, let me in. And I just would not. And I was on the other side of the door sitting cross-legged, against the door, listening to him but not wanting to give in at all. And he was like, "Let me in, I'm really sorry," all of this in Chinese. And I was like, "No." He's like, "Let me in." And I swear my dad was there for a half hour, probably kneeling on his knees, knowing that I was right on the other side of the door, and just continually apologizing, when really I was the one who had inserted myself into a situation that I shouldn't have been there. And when I finally, after 30 minutes, let him come in, he sat against the wall, and I actually let him love on me, even though I was still feeling really stubborn. And so what I did was I sat there and just cried and basically told him, like, I was so upset, you made me feel so hurt, like, why did you say that to me? And he just apologized. And I think there's two things that I remember about that story. One is that he was not going to stop pursuing me until I accepted his love again. And number two, it was an example of what he wanted me to, be like when I got older, to be able to show grace and love in such extraordinary ways that most people wouldn't take 30 minutes to apologize to a 6-year-old. But my dad found it important enough to sit there and kneel at my door, begging for my forgiveness when I was the one who messed up. And in many ways that reminds me of my own relationship with God, is that no matter what I've done, He beckons me to come back to Him. And so when I think of how I've experienced love in my life, that is the experience that stands out to me.